Good morning. Good morning to all students and participants, the guests. It is a very important session on job market and career opportunities in MNCs and other organizations. We have a speaker and who is well versed and who is in the MNC sector for quite a long time, and she held so many positions different to the positions she has done, and then she has got a vast knowledge and exposure in this area, and she has accepted our invitation to interact with our students and explain about the job market. And to introduce her, our student Srimati B.A. Nitya Garu. She is going to introduce her, and Nitya is an ex-executive of ICICI. Now she is a senior associate of SBI Life. May I request Nitya Garu just to introduce the speaker, please?
Good morning, everyone. I take great pleasure in introducing our speaker, Srimati Pratyusha Sharma, AVP HR at Cognizant and Joint Secretary SCSC. Srimati Pratyusha Sharma has more than 2 decades of experience in the industry and is currently with Cognizant as AVP HR. She has done diverse roles from being an entrepreneur to a corporate HR professional. She also leads Cognizant Hyderabad. She passionately works for women development to LGBTQ to with disabilities. She also works for safety of women and career advancement of many individuals through SCSC, NASSCOM, and NHRD. She has been delivering many talks at universities, organizations on women in workforce and women's safety. She is a mentor with many platforms and passionately spends her time by volunteering through Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence and Nachiketa Tapovan to uplift education and values. We welcome you to this session, ma'am.
Madam, now the session is handed over to you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, Prakash Karu, and good morning, one and all. And absolutely, when Prakash Karu called me a week ago, and it is something to do related with the careers of individuals, I was happy and I accepted. So thanks for inviting me to a prestigious, I would say, learning, which is happening to be able to make a difference to the careers. So thanks to Prakash Karu and his team, and welcoming all the participants. And I understand there are a lot of age groups. There are a lot of diverse segments you all have come from already experienced you are, right? And I'm sure you might be looking at social media, networking with your friends, talking to your mentors, understanding what really is going on in the market. But just with my little experience, I thought, yes, I will share what is going on in the last few years and how changes are happening currently in the industry to look at the kind of skills. So what I'm going to cover today is, please, if you have any expectations, would like you to write it on the chat window. And I would like to cover what really are the skills industry is looking for. What are the different job opportunities available in this vast segment, which many of us may not know, some of us may know. I think in finance and accounting and the curriculum, you have a great curriculum, I must say, really setting up the foundation. It may be a less time, but those are guiding principles. And I think if you take it forward, that really putting it into practice and application is really what I'm going to talk about and how it. So please, I know there are 2 people who are raising their hand, Shravanti and Krishna Prakash. If there is something you can scribe on the chat window, would be happy to take any questions in the end. So Prakash Karu, is there anything else, or I'm okay with the expectations?
Yes, madam. And then in case of any queries, we deal with them in the at the end.
The end. So just give me
so
half an hour that I will cover.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, madam. Okay.
And thanks a lot, Nitya, for the lovely introduction. Absolutely. I've been 26 years in the industry. I worked with GE for about 12 years. I'm a business professional for the first 12, 14 years. into operations, Six Sigma and business. Largely supported the finance and accounting industry in training, and moved into the HR space the last 12 years. So currently I lead HR for a business unit where we are constantly working on career development and not just giving jobs. We believe in not just jobs. I think the whole industry believes in giving careers to people. And what's the difference? Many of us just look for a job, right? We want to meet our financial needs. We want to ensure we meet our purpose, and we look for a job. But many of y'all, I think one thing you need to understand is organizations really provide a career path. They have a mentors. They are able to guide you to take you to whichever is your purpose. And with that, if you are able to find the right opportunity, right organization, build your careers, I think that's something which you can take back for your life. So just wanted to share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see my screen. And this is more about how finance and accounting has been shaping up in the last few years and how things are going to change in the next few years. So I think all of us are really working in a competitive environment, huge competition. There is a lot of business growth which we need to drive as an industry. There is a lot of growth each one of y'all are doing in your personal professional journeys, right? I think the future of finance and accounting, it's just not about technical knowledge. Absolutely. IPA is giving you the technical knowledge. You have an experience in your current, and I heard, Nitya, you've been working in the SBI. So there is already a lot of technical know-how you have. And IPA is giving you a guidance to the industry part. But if you look at it, the other skills, which is the emotional intelligence, the attitude with the right technologies, you really will make that difference. So in finance and accounting, you hear about many platforms, right? CRM tools, many other tools. Or should I learn technology? Should I become an IT person? I only know finance and accounting. There are a lot of fears. And if you look at those fears, I think it is important for you to have a hardcore foundation on your technical knowledge first. That is your financial knowledge. And then you work on the platform. It is not something that you need to have technology and then you build your SME knowledge. I think you all are already strong subject matter experts. Very clearly, when businesses look for great skilled talent, they look at how you can actually make those informed decisions. How do you make those informed decisions? Only if you're strong on your subject matter, right? And technical knowledge anyway is taught in the industry to say how an invoice is processed. Say I'm taking an example, how an invoice is processed on a platform. So clearly what we look at, how a human is able to make those decisions. How can you increase the efficiency? How can you improve the productivity? I think these are very right elements along with the financial know-how you have. So there is a lot of industries which I mentioned there. And I'm sure clearly, you know, this is like a horizontal which is needed in every company and every industry. Huge potential, whether it is in colleges, whether it is universities, you find in the hotels, you find it in the hospitals. I'm from an outsourcing industry in the consumer goods audit firms. You name it, every company needs you. That's the biggest potential you have, which you are able to strengthen your platforms. But clearly, when is it that you're going to have, and you know, I'm going to summarize this a little bit. But clearly you all have an academic qualification, I'm sure, right? And I think that is very critical. Second is whether it is SAP, Oracle, CRM, all of that is something which information gets processed on. So technology is an enabler to help us to drive the efficiency. And constantly the industry is going through technology changes. There are new tools which are coming up. We need to be aware on how to use the technology to drive the information back and drive that efficiency. I'm just sharing a little bit, not only in the corporate in outsourcing industry, but across. Very clearly, these are the areas of expertise. If you see in accounts payables, receivables, taxation, corporate treasury, budgeting. Constantly, people need these areas to be able to drive their business growth. And very, very critical, very, very important that these areas which you are learning. And Prakash Karu, when I saw your content and curriculum and I was mapping it to the career opportunities of what is available, absolutely so much critical. But I think even if you're doing it for 3 months or 6 months course, you need to have that experience hands-on to be able to make a strong impact when you're doing your interviews or when you are talking to people, and people are looking, there's a lot of talent required. um, some of the quality tools which we constantly look at even in the IT industry, where you drive efficiency, right? So you are, say, processing, again, I'm just taking a very simple example. Suppose you're processing an invoice on the system. You need to process it not just in 10 minutes, you need to process it in 2 minutes so that the customer is able to give, and you have to be accurate. How do you improve that? So some of these quality tools actually help us to think and wire our minds in that mood and momentum to say, I want to reduce the time taken to process an invoice from 10 days to 3 days. How do I do it? And these are some of the tools which are taught in the industry for you to constantly look at improving the productivity. Clearly, I think it's very important. You have the right communication skills. You are able to have that. Excel is a core. Let me be honest. How much ever technologies come, but there is Excel, which is very important for you to understand, to be able to do your workings, because lots of businesses, if you see, and lots of industries have not moved too much into digital. So you need to be aware of the realistic scenarios, whether it is in some of the banks, some of the audit firms, they still send Excel, and you need to work on that to translate and to be able to churn out the data in the technology platform. So clearly, I think what the industry really looks for is, first is your core, which is your area of expertise, how much of knowledge you have, how much you're able to apply. Second is, do you have the right qualification for that role which is being identified? Third is a mix of some of the skills which I showed on the right hand side, which is more about your application of the knowledge and how you articulate. Because today, if you look at it, data analytics, I may show a lot of data on the screen. If I don't know how to convert that into a story or articulate it and share it with you, I've lost the game, right? It's all about how you convert data into different insights and be able to communicate and converse either with your manager or with the clients or with the business. So articulation of data into insights, into being able to communicate it efficiently, makes a huge, huge difference. So build on these skills, because all you'll do is keep building on these skills. There are a lot of open courses which are available, and you can actually talk to your mentors. If you don't have a mentor, please have a mentor. The right tools are available all over online to be able to make your skills more better. So just on these, and these are some of the 12 roles which I looked at. So what I spoke is about skills, but these are the roles which are really something which all industries really look for. And you know the definitions very clearly more than me, right? I think whether you're an accountant creating financial statements, you're a finance consultant, constantly looking at improving operational efficiencies, or if you're a financial analyst, where you're constantly looking at data and being able to share with either the CEO or the president of the organization, constantly helping him or her. And as you grow up the ladder, these are some of the things. And even at the lower level, credit analyst, we look at business analysts, we look at financial management analysts. If you look at it, the last 3 points, which I mentioned, 10, 11, 12, is around very, people start with that basic when they complete the BCom and they're freshers. There's a lot of processing which is done. We need subject matter experts to look at accuracy of the data. Constantly, these are some of the roles which are evolving from a person who's coming into the industry as a fresher to being able to take up if you have more experiences, either as a tax accountant or a budget analyst. So you have vast number of industries, and I've really just mentioned the IT and ITES companies. These are just few which fit into the page, but actually there are huge number of companies who are hiring, who are recruiting, and finance expertise is something which everybody wants. So I think that's a great opportunity which you all are in the right time to be able to drive it. And this is again industry data, and I'm just sharing how average salaries are. And this is all on the net, so it is not something which I'm sharing differently. But if you look at it, what is the low versus the high when people come in new to the industry? There's usually a salary increment of 8 to 10% year on year. And almost every 12 months, the re-review and performance appraisals happen during the company. And if you've seen how the salary has changed over time for people who are experienced, almost 36% jump when you're in the mid management category, right? That's the need of the industry today. They need people who are anywhere 2 to 10 years. They need people who are 10 to 15 years and 20 plus. But as you go, yes, the numbers come down because that's the higher order roles. But if you look at it at the mid manager roles, there's a huge, huge opportunity, huge need for the market for you to absorb people like you with the kind of expertise. So clearly, that's what I wanted to share. And that's more from a technical perspective. I'm happy to share this deck with Prakash Karu. There's no, there's something which is from the industry. But at the same time, I wanted to share. One is, I'll just answer the questions. I know there's some coming in the chat. There are a couple of things which I want to share from an industry. That's more from a market intelligence standpoint. I wanted to bring you a flavor on the kind of wealth of opportunities you all are sitting on. The second point is when companies hire you, I think very clearly we really look at primary, secondary, and meta skills. And what do I mean by that? Your primary skills are your SME knowledge. You have to have the core knowledge and apply that. Secondary skills, your entire few things, right? On time management, ownership. How do you really look at the end-to-end picture? How are you able to communicate? As you grow, it is not just about growth. It is about, do you have the right potential and knowledge to be able to grow that? Your secondary skills are all about how do you have that discipline and attitude and drive those efficiencies for the business. Because that's what businesses really look for. What is the next level of skills? Your meta skills. That's more on judgment, decision making. How are you able to critically think on your feet? You may do a mistake, but how are you able to think on your feet to find the right solution and experiment? So it's all about critically thinking and judging, making the right decisions, trying to innovate with whatever you are available. Because everywhere you see organizations want to grow, so does the employees need to grow. But how do you need to help the organizations? By having the right kind of skills to be able to make that come back. So I think that's something which I wanted to share. One part, skills are very critical. Please understand where you are in your journey. Do a SWOT analysis for yourself. Do your own, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Play with your strengths. Ensure that you are strong at, say, for taxation. You are very strong in being able to, manage your time well. And I love when Prakash Karu said, right, we are very disciplined, we are on time. That's very critical because that shows your attitude on how you can differentiate yourself. And I think the third is to be able to say that if you're not good at communication, so those are your strengths. What are your opportunities? You're not good on communication. It's a constant practice. It's not something all of us are good at, but you need to keep practicing it to grow because the competition is high. I may have knowledge. I may be able to communicate. Somebody has knowledge but are not able to communicate. You'd lose out, right? If I don't know how to even share what I want to, I will lose out. Then you can't say I just have the technical and the financial knowledge. So very critical to have elements of everything because the industry is going through a tough digital transformation phase, right? I think all of us know we are in the digital era. The last 5 years, it's going through a lot. clients are expecting. It's like all of us. When you want to do a Swiggy or Uber, you want everything on time, right? Clients want everything transformed. The banks are going through so much of transformation the last couple of years. They are still working on the old age banking system. They are working on the transformation. They're also working on the blockchain technology, right? Which are already transformed. So when lots of outsourcing happens or IT things happen, I think they want everything where we can value add, where we can improve productivity. And especially when you as finance graduates or people who have that financial knowledge are able to keep pace with the transformation, that's where you can really make a difference. So I think the digital transformation technologies are going through immense change, and every quarter, every year, there has been a constant change. So if you look at it, you have to be understanding in the field of digital technologies being adopted. Whenever you get into that, say you get into a project with a bank, you get into a project with a hospitality industry, you also need to be clued on to what changes are happening. You get into the healthcare system. The healthcare system is going through a huge transformation. So hence, as finance, you also need to understand what analytics is going on. What is the artificial intelligence which you can adopt on your systems? Today, artificial intelligence is all about where the machine understands each one of you all. What do you need? I think everybody who's there on this 20, 30 people need different choices. How do I really help give those choices? So even in the finance stream or in the taxation stream, say every persona or every individual needs a different tax planning. Can the technology help? Yes, there is a technology which can help. There are a lot of technologies which are going through. Tomorrow you say, I'm out of my job because the AI machine will actually read what is required for each one of y'all, drive the taxation benefits. No, but they are only aiding the humans. We are actually helping them with the higher order skills, which I spoke about, meta skills. You need to understand the tax planning, what the machine is doing. You need to be able to convert that with the human judgment, customize it for that individual, churn that information. It is not something the machines are coming and then we are out. So I'll tell you one very interesting thing, right? There's a healthcare client where there is a doctor and the patient conversing, and that is read by an AI machine, and it is actually outsourced to India to be able to where the humans are able to judge the accuracy of the doctor patient conversation and then convert it and share with the back to the client, so that those clinical scripts are written. Banks, for example, in the finance field, right? We actually do a lot of finance and accounting, lots of invoice processing, lots of receivables, reconciliations. There is a lot of work we do in that space. So the judgment is very important there. And the SME knowledge, I think what we lack is the right subject matter experts in the industry. And I think that's where you can really make a difference. For example, people like Microsoft and all of them are actually working a lot with vendors, suppliers. They need a lot of finance and tax planning accountants, financial analysts. So actually constantly build on vendor management, supplier management, because they deal with a lot of vendors, procurement people. So that's where that is another opportunity in technology businesses, how finance and accounting as well as finance careers can play a major role. So I'll take a pause here and I'll answer some of the questions, and happy to be able to take any expectations each one of you all have, because it's a vast subject, not something you can cover in 1 hour, but I thought careers, what is the industry looking at? What are the skills really you need? And how important subject matter experts are. And I want to share my last tip. This is only the guidance which IPA might be giving. It's only 3 months. Keep building on it. That's where you become a true subject matter expertise, because the curriculum and content is like so good on the foundation. But if you don't keep learning and applying it, sharing knowledge, there are a lot of communities. All of you are a part of the community. You need to share knowledge. You need to debate. because what's a curriculum, what you apply when you start debating, you learn much more. And that will be critical to show your intellectual knowledge in this space. So is there any age limit for domestic firms? Madam, I have 4 years gap. There's no age limit. In India, the retirement age is 58 years with the private limited firms, especially in the IT, ITS. And there are a lot of returnship programs which are being launched by different product companies, IT companies. You should update your details on LinkedIn, and very important to brand yourself on LinkedIn so that you have the right terms. When the organizations or the recruiters look for it, they look for those keywords, and that's where you have an opportunity to apply. And this returnship programs will really help you to go and get a job for yourself or work with the recruiters. Is there any age criteria? So there's no age criteria for everywhere. It is 58, you're 47. Absolutely, you can apply and you can get it. You still have 10 young years. Don't ever think that because I want to remove the bias, right? Don't ever think that because you're hitting the 40s or 50s, you may lose out. If you're good at your subject matter expertise, you're confident, go for it. You're there in the market. The next question is, I have an experience of 5 years as an accountant in abroad. Before this, worked in Bank of America as a senior associate in Hyderabad, other than accountancy field. No, absolutely. So it's great that you worked in Bank of America and you worked as an accountant. You have plenty of opportunities in the IT, ITS industry, hospitality industry, consumer industry. They do look for these fields where you can apply and take it back. So please update your profiles on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is a great professional place where you can actually know what is happening in this industry, and at the same time be able to find a good career for yourself. I can share more details if somebody wants on how you can find the right opportunities, because sometimes you might be thinking in your mind, yeah, how do I network? How do I find the right? I can discuss that in the end after the questions are done. So what are the job opportunities in this field? I'm a BCom graduate. Great. If you're a BCom graduate, you're doing the right course. The huge opportunities in accounts receivables, accounts payables, financial analyst, business analyst in the finance and accounting world. Be it in, if you are looking in Hyderabad, there is a lot of investment bankers. There's new companies which has come, Goldman Sachs, Franklin Templeton. There are a lot of banking segments, if not only in the IT industry, in the banking segments, there are a lot. There is in the ITES outsourcing industry, say for example, Genpact, Cognizant, Accenture, huge opportunities for people to be able to pick up those roles, which I mentioned in the beginning in my PowerPoint. You can actually take through it. Ma'am, what's the eligibility criteria in the investment banking center? Can bachelor degree have a shot at it? Absolutely. They look for finance people. They look for people, freshers are a little less, but they look for people a little bit experienced or 1 or 2 years experience. But now with Goldman Sachs, a lot of investment banking companies which have come to Hyderabad, they are evaluating because talent is the core. They're not getting talent. So it's good. You should apply because there is a lot of need today. There's a lot of attrition in the market. The whole industry is going through transformation. Whole industry is looking for talent because there's been a growth in the industry, not that there's no growth. So we are growing almost 8 to 10%. But if we are growing, we need people. And even if they had investment bankers had 2 to 3 years experience, they actually start looking for freshers also because they have changed the pyramid. People are looking for more freshers, more core expertise, so that they are able to manage their businesses better. So huge opportunities. Please take a shot at it, Manjunath, and I'm sure you will be able to crack it soon with the kind of knowledge each one of you will have.
Madam, there was one interesting question saying that artificial intelligence we will replace accountants. Somebody put it like.
Yeah. So I was just going. So Krishna Prakash, I know you said you're working in an audit firm. Wonderful. That's a great industry to move in. And if you want to move, there is a lot of cross-sectional opportunities available. Can AI replace accountants? No, AI cannot replace accountants for sure. AI cannot replace me as a HR professional. So 5-6 years back, when everybody started talking about bots, create a bot, this bot, everybody thought it's just a robot, right? It is like a human. Sonia, Sophia, lots of names came where they are going to take over the world and they don't need humans. It's not that. Bots are nothing but they may be technology interventions to drive efficiency. It's like how traditionally, even at Toyota or manufacturing firms, they use the Lean Six Sigma tools to drive efficiency. Then you have technology changes where you have bots, AI, machine learning, all making a change to drive efficiency. So as I said, and I'm going to take Swiggy because everybody knows, or Uber, we are in the Uberized economy. You want everything at that moment. So the AI machine, actually, when you're on Facebook or Instagram or you're in the social media world, so the AI is actually reading each one of you. So you see, right, when the AI is looking at each of the social media, it's trying to read what your mind is. But you will not go out of the business. So what AI can do in our accounting world with my knowledge is AI can actually start creating more efficiencies where it can build a persona based what Mr. Prasad wants versus Manikanta wants. You can build that, the AI can build to 60-70%. The remaining 40% has to be done by accountants. You can't get away with it. AI can't do that. And that's where I gave you an example on how that doctor-patient conversation, the AI machine is reading, but there are almost 5,000 people, doctors, who are actually trying to hear the AI voice recording and convert that to a clinical script. So they need nurses, pharmacists. The same way in accounting world, we are actually working on a lot of AI tools. So the AI tool only drives a lot of accuracy, efficiency. You look at Alexa. Alexa is reading you every minute. It's understanding you may have songs, you may have this, but Amazon is not going to go out of business. They're going to hire accountants. They're going to hire outsourcing people. They're going to hire call center agents. You need customer service. So AI will not replace any one of you all or me. It's only going to improve our thinking and our skills. And that's why I use that word meta skills, which are very critical in the AI digital transformation world, which are decision making, making the judgments, trying to be able to critically think on your feet, learning to communicate, and the art of storytelling. So what happened before the AI world? We just did processing, you did a job, you converted and moved. But today, you're not just doing that part, you are actually have an AI in between. So you need to constantly build on those skills intelligently to be able to translate that AI into the product, right? Or the sheet which you are working on. So absolutely, it's an interesting question. And I have really pondered, read quite a lot on it. We are only becoming more intelligent than the machines to drive that productivity and business growth for ourselves. Is there any financial analyst course in Hyderabad? I want to pursue it. I'm assuming IPA also gives that. I saw that in the curriculum. But if it is not, I think there are a lot of online Coursera courses or their online CMOOC courses. You should do that. See, in my experience, I've observed, one is you do courses for knowledge, right? You apply those learnings. Then you have certifications which you acquire to say that whether it is an industry when you're applying, I've completed my 10th, I've completed my graduation, I've completed this course from the certification. It holds a value, saying that there is some value you have brought to the table by applying that knowledge. So in financial analyst course, there are many institutes who offer it. There are many online courses which are available. So understand you're doing it for learning or you're doing it for a certificate course to add value to your resume. And then pick it up, and I'm sure it is there. I have an experience in insurance industry, but I want to move into finance. Somebody asked me that question. Absolutely. Insurance industry, again, there's so much of transformation happening. We have finance and accounting people who are supporting the insurance business. So there's a lot of cross-functional work which is happening, again, very interestingly, right? In the insurance industry, there is a lot of change which is happening in terms of, in US, they are already advanced because the AI has already been there. So if you look at when the car meets with an accident in the insurance and the person is calling the insurer saying that this is what has happened to me, this is what it is. There is a very interesting video I will share again that with y'all. In US, already Alexa and the higher order cars are actually capturing where the accident happened, where the whole information is there, and it sends, the AI machine sends already to the insurer the details. So already the details are fed in. Now what's happening is this finance person has to be able to process the details in the insurance industry faster, and in 5 minutes, the problem is solved because already 60% is being done by the AI. So when the human actually gets that information and the finance team actually processes that, it is so faster. And nowadays, millennials, younger generation, went everything on the go, on the move. So transformation is happening. So I think you can move to finance if you have the core knowledge. And as I said, talent is required a lot in all industries. Cross-functional movements are happening. So it's a great opportunity there. So ma'am, I'm studying in MBA specialization of finance. Absolutely. Which type of sector is having growth, madam, in finance and accounting background in a firm? ITES has got huge opportunities. That is the outsourcing industry, which I mentioned. Banking is having a lot of opportunities, investment banking and the outsourcing areas. Third is there are a lot of universities and colleges are actually looking for finance and accounting. There's a lot of growth in all these spaces, right? Hospitals, healthcare segment. So in Hyderabad, you have a lot of product companies which have come in, right? We have Providence, we have Legato. These are all healthcare US companies which have started. They look for lots of IT people, and they also look for some of these finance and accounting which are getting outsourced in the healthcare business. So there's a lot of growth in the spaces, and you really have to point which I want to bring it to the table is it's a job and a career growth versus your financial goals. Please ensure you define those well, because at times we just want to meet our financial needs and we jump into a opportunity. But due to luck, yes, it's a great opportunity. You keep moving up the ladder. At times you may not get a great opportunity. That's when I would recommend each one of y'all have a mentor, either your friends, your siblings, or the institutes y'all have been learning. Ensure you get some guidance to say that you are making the right decision. Absolutely, there's a lot of growth in this kind of the industry, which I want to share. So opportunities for finance jobs for freshers is like tremendous. And as I said, when I spoke about pyramid for all of y'all in an organization, the freshers are 70–80%. Then you have a little bit experienced who are 2 to 6 years, 8 years experience, who are almost work around 20%. And then you go through single digits, right? Which is more about the pyramid. That fresh, what organizations are doing it is they want to get more freshers who are more intelligent, knowledgeable, and who have subject matter experts at the fresher level, so that they bring in more intellectual expertise, they bring in more thinking, they bring in more value to the work what we are doing. And then whoever is going to be the differentiator with the right attitude, with the right technical skill, financial skill, and the meta skills, which I spoke about on decision making. Keep growing up the ladder, right? So huge opportunities for freshers. So if students will not have proper system knowledge, so that Tarun has said, how to work in a company, is there any solution? For example, I'm doing an accounting course with simulation software. How will it help to get practical knowledge in the company to work? How we can gain? I don't have proper typing knowledge. So at that time, how can I work? No, so these are some of the skills, right? Now, you also need to know you are working, you said in the accounting course with simulation software. You are also saying that you don't have typing skills. You also saying that you want to work and you want to gain some project knowledge. Now, which area do you want to work in? It's important for you to understand. If you're working in the MNC, IT, ITES companies, and you want to grow, yes, absolutely, you need to work on a system, right? That is given. And it is not about typing speed, it is about the efficiency you churn. And that comes with practice. I wouldn't have been able to sit and type and join a call in 5 minutes. I would have done that around 10 years back. I would have gotten 15 minutes back. Now I'm doing it in 5 minutes. It's a practice, it comes. But you need to have basic know-how to be able to work on the system for sure. And if you're working on the accounting course, I think basic accounting skills are required, especially in these companies which I mentioned in the outsourcing industry, for you to get a job. I completed my MBA with specialization of finance. What is the opportunities in MNCs for freshers? I think I answered that. MBA finance, BCom finance, BCom in accounting, all of these are something which are very critical. And I will work, Prakash Karu, maybe with you, with some of my hiring friends or whatever. I think if we can actually do embed some of our curriculum, or maybe embed some of our applications into your curriculum, I'm sure people will have more confidence to bridge that gap.
Thank you.
Maybe that's something which I can work through and help the industry also to reduce that gap, right? So that we can seed in more faster those skills. I'm doing a course with Impact Institute of Practical Accountancy and Taxation. Yes, absolutely, it will be helpful. I think whether you're doing it, of course, one is with IPA and you're doing it, some people said, somewhere else in the accounting course. As I said, the core knowledge is going to be very critical when you're doing the interview. And what interviews you can get for, what do they look for? Say, do you have those basic general ledger, understanding? People do BCom, but at the same time, when you ask them questions, they're not able to answer a basic P&L, right? They're not able to do a basic general ledger system. They're not able to even basic taxation accounting. At times we are not able to get that information, and hence the reject happens. So that's why it's not about academic is one part. You need to constantly keep understanding the concept well so that you're able to apply that. And that's where maybe I'm happy to help IPA with some of my colleagues and friends to be able to see if there is a gap. I know that there is no gap. I saw the content and curriculum. If there is something we can add as an industry body to be able to help IPA or to help all of you all to be able to drive those skills which industry is looking for. So thanks all of you all for your questions. I know lots of apprehensions because of age, because you already are working somewhere. Will you be a reject if you don't have some skills? Will you be a reject if there is no knowledge? These are all fears. It is natural to have all these fears, but very important for you to have confidence in the parallel and ensure that you have the right skills to drive that confidence and go for it. I'm sure you will be able to crack. It'll take time, but you will be able to crack. Update your LinkedIn profile, update your profile and your resumes, and ensure that you are able to get into the hands of the recruiters with the keywords and key specializations you are doing. So don't go away saying that you have done accounting. Oh, will I get a job in this? Then they go and apply for something else. Then you are so disturbed because you don't know how you are going to fare in this versus that. And then you get lost. So first find your purpose and goal, be very clear which field you want to get into, update your resume CV, update your LinkedIn, find the mentor and guide, ensure the knowledge you gained in IPA, you're able to cross-function. And today you're lucky because there's huge social media. There are a lot of communities in LinkedIn itself who actually have these discussions. You should start going and having these discussions and be a part of those communities to understand, because one session like this may just remove 1% of your fear, but you need to have constant communities of learning to be able to drive that confidence levels for you to be able to make that jump. I'm interested in accounts. Can I join an MNC company? You're a science student. Yes, absolutely. You're a science student, but it is important for you to have the accounting knowledge. If you don't have that, then you will be a reject in the beginning, because you would have to build on your concepts which you have not built for 3 years. You built on science concepts. So you have to have very strong, as I said, when we ask questions on general ledger, basic P&L, basic credit debit, these are very simple things. And when we ask, people fail, to be honest. And that's the gap you need to fill in to be able to make that difference. Regarding impact, I don't know if it's a typo
I
error.
don't know. I think some spelling mistake or something.
Okay. IPA placement app, I'm searching through this app, but in this app, sometimes if we want to apply directly for domestic firms, how can we apply? Sir, would you want to take that? Because it's an IPA app, somebody is asking for that. Tarun.
I think that's not applicable to us.
Okay. So Tarun, do you want to share your query? So yes, Indian education system is going through that change. So the new education policy, if you look at it, whether it's engineering graduates, BCom graduates, BA, are including a lot of practical know-how. Internships are happening. So there is a lot of change which is happening where the university college itself needs to pick up all this, and that's where application becomes more critical. And we as industry professionals go to colleges, do a lot of sessions, our own subject matter experts. So we are constantly trying to bridge the gap. There's a lots to be done. Mustafiz, I think it's good that you brought out this question. It's reality. And I think we've accepted the reality and glad that the government has brought across a new education policy. You should read that, and colleges are adopting it. And it is really interesting to see when I was there in a college last week. And they've adopted the new education policy, and they've been doing hackathons with organizations. They've been doing crowdsourcing. All this is communities of learning. So it's changing. And I think hopefully we will be closer to the West in terms of our education system and be more better and reduce the gap. And all of you all will be the change agents there, and you should be the change agents. In my mobile, I'm using Impact app, madam. I don't know what's it. It will be helpful for domestic. So Tarun, can you explain what's this Impact app? If you can unmute yourself and share. I haven't heard of it, but if you have to want to apply for jobs, as I said, there is a lot of recruitment firms who are looking for it through social media, Naukri and LinkedIn and many other things. There's a second one where there are a lot of training partners who actually train. They work with industry bodies like us, And they also give some application knowledge. Somebody mentioned typing speed and some of those industry skills. And at the same time, work with industries where we call hire and train model, right? Source hire train model, which lots of vendor partners, I know IPA is doing that, and trying to be able to provide placement to the MNC and the IT companies. So Tarun, if you want to share what's the Impact app, I can clarify if I know it a little better. Okay.
Yeah, okay, we'll go to the next year.
Yeah. So I think those were the questions, very interesting questions, lots of fears. Remove your fears, focus on your confidence, focus on your skills, focus on your core, what is important, which is your technical. When I say technical, it's your core finance knowledge, not technology. Technology is an added part on it. Today, I'm using technology to talk to you, but I need to have my subject matter expert to communicate that back to you. I hope you understood that. So very important, technology is important. We actually work with technology to improve the productivity. Again, I'm coming back to the Uberized economy. I need to use technology to book my car, but I need to know where to go. I need to know who to send. That's all your knowledge. So AI and technology will not replace any one of y'all. It's only going to help you to do your job better, but ensure that your agility, your speed, your critical thinking. I think when with age, it slows down, but I've seen many people who are even aged are more faster than the youngsters. So keep your potential high on that. Have your confidence with yourselves. I know there may be many rejects which would have happened in your life, so you're not too sure if you can compete with the millennials. But with your knowledge, I'm sure you can. And the skills are important. Agility, thinking, ensuring that you are making the judgments well. Being able to build those skills also is very critical today. And that's what millennials, youngsters are really in the super fast age. So we have to catch up. But I'm sure I have seen many people. We hire with people with disabilities. We hire people who have right talent. We have people with LGBTQ community who are finance graduates. Amazing work they are doing. So it's a diverse mix, right? It is not gender, it is not age, it is not about people with disabilities or anything. Everybody is needed in the industry to grow. But just having the right skill, right opportunity, right mentor, right attitude is very critical for you to grow. So with that, thanks a lot, Prakash Karu, for giving me an opportunity to be able to converse and interact. Absolutely an engaging, team, I must say, who are really wanting to grow. So don't forget your roots. Keep continuing to grow in your space. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, madam, because all the inputs, and then IPA wants to work with you and take all the inputs, and then this designing the course. Our main objective is to help the students in case, finally for their self-employment or jobs or whatever is there, like, because our students, from 21 years to 60 years, the candidates, if we see, I think our participants is the Ravi, who is going to Tanzania. He is now working in software industry as an administrative officer. So there now he's getting a job as an administrative cum accounts officer. So for the accounts part of it, he's doing very well. And this our participant, I think, sir, CMA Krishnan Garu, are you there, sir? I mean, he's speaking. I mean, he's from San Jose. He's the senior most, the management consultant. And sir, are you there, sir? Okay. So thank you, madam. I request all the participants to please unmute the mics. Unmute the mics and please give her a big hand. I mean, let us all thank her for the, wonderful lecture on this. All of you.
Prakash, I am available.
Thank you.
That's a very good.
Thank you for the opportunity, and hope to
Thanks.
see all of you all in bright careers and
Definitely.
doing well for yourself.
Very good presentation.
Krishna,
This
thank
very good presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good luck. Hope I was on time. Have your
Yeah.
valuable Sunday to yourself and enjoy learning. Never stop learning.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good day.
Not